What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Bluff. It's time for week 4 of our NFL picks. Two idiots bluffing our way through the NFL season. And please let me preface this by, if you're coming to us for any gambling advice, you've got problems in your life. Something's going wrong. Please make a therapy appointment as soon as possible. Before we do our picks, let's look at the standings real quick. Ryan, I did a little bit better last week, but not great. Last week I was 13-15. You were still better than me, 16-12 overall. Straight up, I'm 20-23, you're 24-19. As you can see, you're really dominating me in the spread. You're almost 10 games up. Locks, we're both 4-2. And our total, I'm 34-51-1. You were 47-38-1. So I'm a little bit behind you.
Yeah, especially if you're tuning in to get gambling advice from us, just know that in our state, gambling's illegal. So we have no idea what we're doing, but somehow I'm managing to make a decent run at it this year. Week 4 is surely where everything burns up in flames.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't put any money on it because we can't, unfortunately, unless, we do so through back channels. But we do put the videos up so Vikings fans can attack us in the comments because of the one good day a year they have. But they'll enjoy it while it lasts. It will all come crashing down. Let's jump right in to the first game. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to Carolina. The Bengals are favored by 4.5 points. Ryan, you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, so this is the one I told you before the show started that I changed my straight-up pick at the last minute. I'm going to pick Cincinnati to win this football game. Now, that burned me last week, but I just can't see a world where the Bengals open up at 0-4. I know Ellen DeGeneres is behind center, but we can't count them out completely because T. Higgins did come back last week. They did target him a few times. It didn't go their way. You could tell that he had some rust on him for sure. I am going to take the Panthers to cover plus 4.5, but I think the Bengals pull out a win here. They need to. They have to at this point.
I think the Carolina Panthers had their 1 week inflation, so I'm going to go with the Bengals to win the game. I'm going to go with the Bengals to cover. I don't think the Bengals are looking like a playoff team. That defense is terrible. Jane Daniels carved them up. But it's still, and maybe it's just us stuck in the past. I feel like they have to fix it at some point. Maybe if they would spend less time running their mouth and more time playing football, things would work out for them because they've talked crap to every team and they've gotten dog walked every week. At a certain point, you think Zach Taylor would say in and say, "Hey guys, I got an idea. Let's shut the hell up. Let's see what happens if we do that." Anyway, I still think they win and I think they cover. The Andy Dalton train probably was a one-stop affair. The Denver Broncos are going to New Jersey to take on the Jets, and Aaron Rodgers looked good last week against the Patriots. Both teams coming off of wins. Jets are favored by 7.5 points. I think that's really big. This is kind of the Nathaniel Hackett revenge game. I do think Sean Payton's going to have some stuff dialed up, but that Jets defense is going to suffocate Bo Nix. Give me the Jets to win the football game, but not by 7.5. Jets win, but Broncos cover.
I'm exactly the same. I think the Jets will win this football game. It is at home. Aaron Rodgers looks to be tapping in from Aaron Rodgers, 8 years ago. He looks really, really good. But Bo Nix was a surprise last week, I think, to everybody. He was dialed in more so than he has been all year. I think that does continue, but this Jets defense is a whole nother beast to tackle. I still think he finishes within that 7.5, so give me Denver plus 7.5.
The New Orleans Saints are going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. An early NFC South matchup that we all have circled. Both teams coming off of tough losses last week. The Falcons are favored at home by 1.5 points. I really think this is a coin flip game, Ryan. It's going to come down to, can the New Orleans Saints run the football? And considering the Chiefs were able to run the football all over Atlanta with Carson Steele, I think Kamara's going to eat. I like the Falcons. I think they're going to be better than their record indicates, but the Saints win the football game, so I'll take the 1.5.
Oh, I'm going to take Atlanta minus 1.5 here. I believe that they can't lose 2 home games back to back. That's kind of where I'm going with this. There's not a whole lot of logic behind it. I do think that Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback than Derek Carr right now. And, Derek Carr, if they get behind and they have to rely on him to win the football game, it doesn't look pretty. Like you said last week, on last week's episode, that the Saints can win in one type of situation. That's if they run first. If they're a run first team, they got the game, no questions asked. Atlanta has to stop this run. They have to slow it down, force Carr to make those throws, and I think Atlanta can capitalize on defense and have some takeaways possibly. Give me Atlanta to win and to cover.
The Minnesota Vikings are going to Green Bay to take on the Packers, an NFC North divisional matchup. Jordan Love's status still up in the air as of this recording on Thursday. This is a tough one because the Vikings have looked so good. They've looked dominant, but the Packers have looked really, really good as well. I just can't pick the Packers right now without the Jordan Love situation. If he was playing, I would lean Packers, but I think if they have to start Malik Willis, even if they had to start Jordan Love, Brian Flores' defense is probably going to give them trouble. Look what they did to CJ Stroud. I think the Vikings are on a roll, and for now, they keep rolling. Vikings win. I'll take the 2.5.
Yeah, I think I got a little bit of PTPD here, post-traumatic pick disorder, because last week when I didn't pick the Vikings, we were both
ridiculed,
put on a cross.
Mocked.
Yeah, and we were drugged through the streets. And look, I'm just not going to have it again. Green Bay did win. They've won the last 2 games with Malik Willis, and I think that comes to an end this week. The Vikings are rolling. I think they go 4-0 through week 4. And when you look at the last 3 opponents they had, they held the Giants to 6 points. They held the 49ers to 17, and they held the high-powered Texans offense to 7 points. Tell me why you think Malik Neighbors is going to score more than 14 or 15, 16 points.
I don't think Malik Neighbors is going to score a single point because he plays for New York, and they're not playing. If Malik Neighbors scores any points in this ball game, just blow it up. Blow up the whole thing.
That may be what Green Bay needs to win this football game. Whatever the quarterback's name is, it's too early in the morning for me to think about everybody's name right now. Give me the Vikings to win, and the Vikings plus the 2.5, obviously.
The Jacksonville Jaguars coming off one of the most embarrassing performances I've ever seen in my life. I got off the ride just in time, man. I got off just in time because holy crap, just when you think they might show something, nope, they completely collapsed. Trevor Lawrence looks terrible. I think Doug Peterson is basically already fired. He's already making his vacation plans. Texans are favored by 6.5 points. This is a divisional matchup, Jaguars at Texans. No way. There is no chance in hell. You told me you would allow me to get off the Jaguars roller coaster if I promised never to go back. I'm not going back. I'm not touching it. Texans win. Texans cover. I think the Jaguars have given up. They've thrown in the towel. I don't want any part of it.
Couldn't agree more. I never jumped on board the Jaguars roller coaster through hell, and I'm not going to this week. Give me the Texans to cover, especially if Joe Mixon is back in the game.
The Pittsburgh Steelers and Justin Fields go to Indianapolis to take on Anthony Richardson and the Colts. Steelers favored by 1.5 points on the road. I think 1.5 is too low because Anthony Richardson struggles anyway, and this Steelers defense is suffocating. I think they're going to dominate him. I think they're going to want to make him think of a different career path, and I think Justin Fields is going to do what he has done, manage the football game, and just do what needs to be done to win. The Steelers keep rolling, Ryan. I think they just keep winning. Give me the Steelers to win and easily to cover.
Again, I'm with you. I hate that we don't have more differences this far through the picks, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. I think they're on a roll right now. I don't think they come off of that this week, and I think the Colts, like you said, they struggle in big-time games where it should be close. The Steelers have won 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams. I don't think that changes. They moved to 9-11 this time, and I believe that if the Colts can't get that running game going, it's going to be a bloodbath in Indianapolis. So give me Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh minus 1.5.
The Rams at Chicago to take on the had trouble getting that one out, didn't I? The Rams at Chicago to take on the Bears. Bears are favored by 2.5 points on the road. That seems large to me. Maybe it's because of all the Rams injuries, but we saw what they did against the 49ers. Now, San Francisco did let them hang around and let them come back. I mean, you know, they got them down a couple times. There is no way. This game comes down to one simple premise to me, Ryan. Sean McVay versus Matt Eberflus. Yeah. If I'm wrong picking Sean McVay, at least I can look myself in the mirror at night. Give me the Rams to win the football game. And so you give me the better coach, the better quarterback, and 2.5 points. I'll take that all day.
I'm right there with you, man. I could not pick against Sean McVay. It wasn't even the football teams at this point. It was just, I think Sean McVay's a much better football coach,
right?
All the way around. And I think that, Kyron Williams really stepped up last week. I think we do see him come back to earth a little bit more in week 4, but I don't see why, if we doubted the Rams before with all the injuries and we were wrong about it, they're going in to play a lesser team this week with Chicago. Tell me why they don't win here.
Yeah, I don't see it happening, man. The Eagles go to Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. Eagles just beat the Saints last week. The Buccaneers got crushed by the Broncos in a devastating loss. Still trying to figure out who these two teams are. Maybe this game will tell us, or probably not. The Eagles are favored by 1.5 points. I like the Bucs, but it seems like the Eagles, despite having a terrible head coach and despite him trying his damnedest, that's how bad Nick Sirianni is, Ryan. He can't even succeed at losing football games. When he tries to lose, he can't do it because his players won't let him. He's awful, but I think the roster, the players carry him. Saquon Barkley. I am worried about Devontae Smith probably being out. I don't know if A.J. Brown's coming back or not. Like, that could really limit the Eagles here, so that worries me. I'm going to take the Eagles to win the football game and to cover, but I do so very skeptically.
I'm going to take Tampa Bay here, and obviously give me the points on Tampa Bay. But I think this is one of those games where the Eagles may get up, by 2 touchdowns early, maybe before halftime or something. But then Baker Mayfield puts on that hat. He starts throwing the ball to Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans goes off this game, pending he's healthy enough to play. If he is, I think this is the game where you see the resurgence of Mike Evans, and he goes beast mode out here. I think that Baker's going to need to air it through the all throughout the game, to be honest with you. Like, I don't think this running game for Tampa Bay is going to work out anytime soon.
Because they don't have one?
Well, Bucky Irving is definitely the in-between-the-tackles guy, but I don't think the Eagles are going to give them a chance to run the ball that much because they're going to get up early. But I still think that Tampa Bay pulls it off and Sirianni fumbles the ball somehow.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. The Patriots go to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. 49ers are favored by 10.5 points.
Ooh.
I like the 49ers to win. 10.5, Ryan. I can't do it. I'm just not giving up that many points. 49ers win the football game, but give me the Patriots to cover.
There's not much analysis needed. Yeah, the 49ers are winning this football game, no doubt. 10.5 is a huge spread. I don't pick big spreads, so give me the Pats to cover.
The Commanders and Jaden Daniels, after his coming out party last week, are going to Arizona to take on Kyler Murray and the Cardinals. Cardinals favored by 3.5 points. I love what Jaden Daniels showed last week, but the Bengals defense was terrible, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the Cardinals are coming off a really tough loss to the Lions. I think the Cardinals win this football game, but I do think it's close. Give me the Cardinals to win, but the Commanders to cover.
Man, this week we're in sync somehow. I don't know what's going on. I have the same thing. Cards to win, Commanders to cover. I think this is going to be a really, really good football game. These teams are really evenly matched. I think this is going to be one of those games that's going to be high scoring, and it may come down to like the Bills and the Chiefs did, where whoever gets the ball last wins.
We will see. Moving on to the Browns at the Raiders. Raiders favored by 1.5 points at home. I thought it was interesting. You saw Antonio Pierce's comments last week where he was like, we had some guys make some business decisions in that game. He said, so we're going to make some business decisions going forward. I love that. I like him. I can't help but like him. So give me the Raiders to win this football game, Raiders to cover. I'm not touching Cleveland.
I'm going to go Browns in the upset here. This isn't necessarily an upset alert because I could see it falling either way with such a small spread, but I'm going to take the Browns. Obviously, give me the points on them, plus 1.5. I think that Amari Cooper is really starting to find a little bit of chemistry with Deshaun Watson. As little as it may be, I think it's enough to overcome this Raiders football team who have looked shaky at best.
The Kansas City Chiefs go to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Chiefs are favored by 7.5 points on the road. The question about this game is Herbert. Is he going to play? He's dealing with that ankle injury. He's been limited in practice. We are recording this on Thursday morning, Thursday at 8:16 a.m., September 26th. As of that moment, whether Herbert plays or not, I can't give up that many points. I just think Harbaugh is too good a coach. They're going to just try to slow the game down. They're going to try to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. He's probably going to do a pretty good job at that. But at the same time, that Chiefs defense is elite. Ultimately, I'm kind of with you. The big spreads, they scare me. I would be happy losing on big spreads, but I can't give up that many points. Chiefs obviously win the football game, I think the Chargers can't beat them without Justin Herbert. They could beat them with him, but not without. Chiefs win, but give me the Chargers to cover. So Chargers plus 7.5.
Yep. Again, we agree. I think the Chiefs will win the football game. Even if Justin Herbert doesn't play, if we knew that Heineke was going to be the starting quarterback for sure, I would still pick the Chargers to cover because Patrick Mahomes never holds up in the spread.
Right.
And then also, Heineke is not the worst backup quarterback in the league. We saw what he did with Washington just a couple years removed. So I think that he can take this football game and give the Chiefs a pretty tough fight, especially if they rely on J.K. Dobbins in the run game a little bit more than they did last week. So, yeah, give me the Chiefs to win, Chargers to cover.
Game of the week, my friend.
Here we
Game
go.
of the week.
Here we go.
The Buffalo Bills go to Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Is this Sunday Night Football?
Oh, this is Sunday Night Football.
Oh, been waiting all week for Sunday night. Carrie Underwood, get those dancers out. We're ready to go. The Bills, the Ravens, Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson. A matchup I feel like we haven't seen a ton. Like these teams don't face each other a ton, or if they do, it just doesn't come to mind. Maybe I'm an idiot. The Ravens are favored by 2.5 points at home against the Buffalo Bills. I think that's blasphemy. Absolute blasphemy. The Ravens still are trying to figure out their identity. They did better last week against Dallas. Hey, go under center and hand the ball to Derrick Henry. It works. It's amazing. Who would have thought? It's crazy. It only took an NFL offensive coordinator 3 weeks to figure out you go under center and hand the ball to Derrick Henry. Why these guys get paid millions and millions of dollars blows my mind. Okay, the Bills, Ryan. Let me just have a soliloquy real quick. The Bills are the best team in football. They are finally doing what we have been begging as long as we've had Sports Bluff as a show, as a channel. Please run the football, establish a dominant ground game, take some of the weight off of Josh Allen's shoulders. Don't make him carry the team. They're doing that, and they have an incredible defense full of nobodies. Sean McDermott is really a defensive guru. He's proven it year after year after year. It doesn't matter who you give him on defense, they're going to be good. I think the Bills are the best team in the NFL. I think they spank the Ravens on national television. I think they absolutely smoke them. Bills win, and I get 2.5 points? Absolutely.
Yeah, I cannot pick against my Bills on this football game. Sunday Night Football, Josh Allen's going to shine. I don't know that they're going to stomp a hole in the Ravens like you say, but I do think that they win. Give me the Bills. Give me the plus 2.5. I think this defense is going to be a nightmare for Lamar Jackson. I think Von Miller has completely turned the game around for the Bills on defense. The way he's getting pressure as fast as he looks, like you said, he's shed some weight. You can clearly tell that.
He's healthy.
And, he's healthy. So, last year we were talking about Von Miller. I said it was like the biggest waste of money ever. Well,
it was.
Oh boy, I'm wrong because this year it seems to be paying off pretty dadgum good for him. I love the Bills on this football game. I don't know why they have the Ravens favored by 2.5 points. They lost against the Raiders, they've lost against the Chiefs, and they beat a really crappy defense in the Cowboys last week. So,
and almost let them come back.
Yeah, and the Buffalo Bills haven't played a fourth quarter all season long because they've just been up by 60 points. So give me the Bills, man, all the way, hammer it, lock it in.
I've heard some people say, well, the Bills, they're beating bad teams. It's like, yes, but they're stomping them. Like if you're saying, oh, yeah, if they beat Jacksonville by 6 points, I'd be with you. They beat them by 40. The game was over at halftime. So I'm with you all the way. I can't wait to watch it, but I think the Bills just keep rolling in this one. We can do this one quickly because this is sad that this is one of the Monday night doubleheaders. By the way, Monday night doubleheaders, we don't need them. Just give us one.
Yep.
One Monday night game. Titans at the Dolphins. Dolphins favored by 1.5 points. No Tua. No trust. Titans win the football game. Give me the Titans plus the points.
Jeez, I'm right there with you, man. The Dolphins ranked 32nd in points per game scored this season so far. And they have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle on offense. Yeah. I'm not saying that they won't score some points on this Tennessee defense because they will, but Tennessee is going to ultimately win this game because the Dolphins are in shambles. They are without water, if you may. They look so bad at points in football games where I question is Mike on something? And I think what he's on is a losing streak.
Yeah.
I hate that, Tua had to come out, and we probably won't see him back this season, I would imagine. I haven't really kept up with that, but I just don't think he comes back this year. It's going to be a rough ride for the Dolphins, man, at home too. I know they're favored by 1.5.
Why are you giving so much analysis on this one? Just pick the Titans.
I picked the Titans. I already did that. I'm just saying I want to give a reason why, because it just feels so wrong picking
Dolphins suck,
Will
Brian.
Levis over a Mike McDaniel coach team. It feels wrong.
But the Dolphins are so dependent on Tua. That's really what it comes down to. It's like if you lose Tua, they have nothing.
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
All right, last game. One we're really looking forward to. The Seattle Seahawks, by the way, timeout. The undefeated Seattle Seahawks go to Detroit to take on the Lions. Lions were able to beat the Cardinals last week. Got a little help from the Zebras, but, I'll put that behind me. Lions are favored by 3.5 points as the Seahawks roll into town. I don't think the undefeated streak continues. I think Detroit finds a way to win the football game. I think this is a physical battle that comes down to the wire. Detroit wins the football game, but Seattle covers.
Okay. So we do have one difference here. I do think the Lions win the football game at home. I do think the Seahawks can't go 4-0, unfortunately. But I'm going to take the Lions to cover. Give me minus 3.5 on them. I think this is a get-right game for them, and Dan Campbell's going to have these guys cooking.
All right, time for our 2 locks. If we had to bet the house on it 2 games, we would put our life on the line for. Thankfully, we don't have to do that. Although in locks, we've done pretty good this season. I think we're both 4-2. My first lock, I'm sorry if I'm stealing it from you, Bills plus 2.5 against the Ravens.
Hate you so much. You want me to give you my first lock?
Take it.
No, it's going to be the Bills versus the Ravens.
Shocker.
Oh, I can't go against my team, man. I'm riding the Buffalo Bill train all the way down. I don't care if it gets on the Jags roller coaster. I'm still riding it this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. My second lock, give me the Seahawks plus 3.5 against Detroit.
I am going to take the Chargers plus 7.5 against the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't have a good record with covering spread, so I think this is a good lock for me.
I like it. That's it. Week 4 picks are in the books. Make sure you guys check with us next week to see how bad we did. I'm sure you'll all humiliate us in the comments because that's what people do, and we're fine with it. We put ourselves out there. Just don't forget the tagline, 2 idiots covering 1 sport. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the weekend, everyone. Goodbye.